Partnerships like Tensor become very important because you guys are into it right from day one. The team, the core team. That is a phenomenal team that you have. To be working alongside people like Manas, such a blessing for the kids as well, because they will be learning alongside the masters of the field. When things are changing every 6 months, it is imperative that we also get ourselves prepared and we also are ready to come into an era where we are producing graduates who are ready to hit the job market from day one. We decided that we really would like to look at a forward-facing program, an industry-ready program. While we insist on the foundations being taken by the university in the right manner, we also believe that skilling is going to make a huge difference. So, which is precisely why we went ahead and tied up with partners like Tensor. SVYASA is a NAC A+ accredited university approved by AICTE. The certification that is provided from SVYASA is a proper B.Tech degree with the right specialization in CSE AI. When the student walks in for a CSN AI program, they are going to start practical application from day 0, not even day 1. With constant and regular hand-holding and with the right practical experience, giving them live projects to work on, ensuring that they get the right internships with the right industry partners.
Hi everybody, this is Srividya from Tensor School of Computer Science and AI. I'm the Chief of Growth and Brand, and today we have a podcast that we are doing with the very own Srividya Ma'am, who was one of the key players in making our first ever Tensor School physical campus happen, and in partnership with SVYASA. So firstly, welcome to our podcast. I'm very excited to speak to you today. So today we'll be discussing about how we as two different parties bring this program in the new age of AI and what it means to the tech world and specifically to 12th graders and the parents who are now looking forward to a new kind of education which they are now, it is possible because of collaborations like this. So welcome, let's get started.
Basically, I started my career in publishing and then I moved into marketing because that seemed the natural move to make. And I've been across industries where I didn't even know the spelling of those industries. And I've learned and I've picked up along the way and I love it. I've loved every bit of this journey that I've had.
And mostly marketing, brand and strategy, all of this, and then you switch to academia now. Yeah. So now you're combining both.
I wanted to get into tech sometime in 2015 because I was more a marketing person. And marketing was becoming more technology from 2015 onwards because campaign management, digital, everything was picking up. And it was the right time for me to learn about the larger marketing, CRM programs, etc. So, which is why I moved to Tech Mahindra from Mahindra Retail. So, huge learnings there. So, though I was a functional consultant, I really did a lot of tech learning at the back end. So, I kind of understood how technology plays a crucial role in a lot of things that we do. So, though I'm not technical by qualification, I am technical by my thinking because I'm a functional consultant. That's how I look at myself.
And also because you've given so many years to actually immersing yourself in that space.
Completely.
And
yes.
Could you also talk about how you had a bit of experience in actually hiring and all putting together these teams? Especially Randstad is known for large-scale operations in tech.
So. Exactly. So what I have observed over the last decade or so is this gap between the primary education and how skilling per se has been done in colleges is rapidly changing. Okay, from a textbook mode of learning, people are now very quickly moving to practical. When they get into an office, when they start working, they find that all the textbook learning that they have done so far has no relevance whatsoever when they sit in front of a system to start working. Right. So while I'm not against a basic foundation education that is a necessity. We will talk about that a bit later, as well as to how, why it is important, because foundation needs theory, foundation needs building, right? The skill part, the skilling part is where the universities are lacking. And that is precisely where people like you come into the picture, because you bring in the technology platforms, you bring in the skill sets that are required for the emerging technologies. So if you look at a regular university academic faculty setup, right? I mean, we have had our education at least a decade ago. And at that time, I mean, even just about half a decade ago, AI was still nascent. It was
Very
not
much so.
so popularized as it is today. So when things are changing every 6 months, it is imperative that we also get ourselves prepared, and we also are ready to come into an era where we are producing graduates who are ready to hit the job market from day one. And that's how we look at ourselves. That's where we are.
Amazing. And that's what you said, right? That from day one, hit the market as a ready person. That's exactly what I used to feel too. That it's kind of crazy how a person can spend 4 years immersing themselves in educating themselves, upskilling themselves, and then come out as like so called freshers who are supposedly not job ready and required onboarding, which is insane. Like, because all the online programs are barely 6 months in duration, and that actually prepares them for the industry. So what is going on in education where 4 years it just does not suffice, right? So that just used to boggle us a lot, that why is this happening? And coming from a college like Triple ID myself, I have explicitly seen how back then, even when AI didn't even exist, they took a they had the foresight to actually put AI, ML, everything from day zero for us. And so when we graduated, we were so like comfortable to be in the industry as it turned out to be 4 years later. And I practically remember Rajnikant's movie of Chitti Robo, where this AI was not even a thing. And we used to think about robots as like transformers, kind of. And now it's just a completely different thing where like every mobile has an agent almost.
Absolutely, absolutely. So things have changed so rapidly, and it is changing even more rapidly. I mean, if you look at our own country, for example, we are decades behind when we compare ourselves to China, for example,
True.
right? I mean, as far as the technology
Have you been to
goes.
China?
Yes, I have. But then what I find there is so phenomenal. They are very, very organized and structured in how they have gone ahead. So I don't blame our country completely, primarily because with the varied kind of population that we have, right from the so-called educated elite onwards. I mean, we have the best tech brains in the world. We don't need to talk about that at all, right? But then we also have a vast majority who are also just skilled labor, right? I mean, that's what we are, and that's what. In fact, even in our IT services, we have only been projecting ourselves as skilled services only. We
Yeah.
have never told the world that we are creators. We have always been people who are there to test, to manage, to oversee. We are never people who are creators, right? So it is time for us to get down to doing that, which is why partnerships like Tensor become very important, because you guys are into it right from day one. I mean, I've seen the curriculum, I've gone through it in detail. I understand how you're looking at skilling the future generations, and to be working alongside people like Manas, it's such a blessing for the kids as well, because they will be learning alongside the masters of the field,
Yes.
right? And which is fantastic, which is phenomenal, and that's an opportunity for them. So I think rather than them going out to the world, I mean, going out of India to actually skill themselves, I don't think they need to do that anymore. I mean, it's all available here
Absolutely.
in India,
Yeah.
in Bangalore, for example, in our own campus. So we are bringing world class education right down here. That's what is important.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the partnership. So I wanted to ask you that what made you feel like taking that step in this particular moment and time? Why 2026? Why Tensor? And what made it feel like, okay, this is something we have to do right now?
See, as a university that was starting off with B.Tech programs in 24-25, we kind of figured that if we are going to be a run-of-the-mill engineering program, we are definitely not going to make a difference. That's where we decided that we really would like to look at a forward facing program, an industry ready program. And also we our location by itself is in a tech park, right?
Yes.
So when we are in a tech park, we believe that we provide the right environment, and our education curriculum also needs to match up to that, and our teaching pedagogy, I mean, everything has to come together to actually make things work. So while we insist on the foundations being taken by the university in the right manner, we also believe that skilling is going to make a huge difference to our graduates. So, which is precisely why we went ahead and tied up with partners like Tensor and others to ensure that we bring a lot of value to our kids who are coming into our program, who are joining our program. So that's how we have looked at it. And why Tensor? Why in 2026? Ever since I've had my first round of conversation with you, I've been really excited, more so because I see AI being the future, and I see that this is a group of young, passionate AI engineers working together to make things happen. And you are winning awards and recognition world over. And here you are coming to set up a system where you're looking at building the next generation of engineers who are going to work in this technology in the future alongside you. That excited me. So, although this is your first year as a university program, I really felt that as a skilling partner, you would be bringing huge value to our graduates. That's why I look forward to working with you. And I'm looking at it as a huge opportunity for our own faculty and to learn as well from you.
Yeah.
And there is a huge opportunity for us to work on research together. There is a huge opportunity for us to come out with a lot of joint work that can actually benefit both of us as well. Yes.
And personally, I also wanted to ask, like, what is the X factor you felt here? Because there are so many different skill partners with SVYASA right now, and even in the world, there are so many different players, right? So when you looked at us, what was that one thing that it actually struck to you that wow, this is a formidable partnership?
The team, the core team, that that is a phenomenal team that you have, and the passion that you bring to the table. And not just the passion, it is the understanding of the subject, the core understanding of the subject, and how it needs to evolve and how it needs to develop further. And you're at the cutting edge of that development, right? So when you're at the cutting edge of that development, when you are growing, we are growing with you. That is what mattered to me in this partnership. Also, it's the team, as I told, not just from a technology perspective, but also from the thought process of the entire team. The CEO is a programmer and is right there, a hands-on guy who's working day in and day out with the technology, and he's there building along with the students. And also, the entire team is a set of youngsters who are passionate about what they do. And that's what attracted me to this group.
And but like a lot of times we get this question that, oh, you're so young, like, in a not in a negative way, but more in a apprehensive way, that generally edutechs are populated with, old, wide-headed people who actually have so-called experience, right? So how did that seem to you from an experienced person yourself? Because I'm sure generally you sit with a lot of people who are much more older than us. And how did it feel like for you? How did that did that play a role at all in the first place?
I won't lie if and say that I'm completely comfortable, right? I mean, there is a sense of apprehension as well because of the gray hair, and also because I belong to the same category as well. But then, what I really believe in is that the future is in safe hands because I see the way you guys work. I see the dedication. I see I see the willingness to learn, right? So I believe that the moment you stop learning, that is when you actually become old and you become you're not ready to take the next step towards learning. And age is just a number. It and also the experience that you bring on the subject matter is quite vast, to be precise.
That's exactly what I
Okay.
was thinking too.
Yeah, because I'm not looking at you as just an engineer. I'm looking at you as an AI engineer, as a person who understands the technology. So when you look at it from that perspective, you guys are pretty old yourselves. You're not
Yeah, and
that
we've been
young.
running this for 6 years in
Yeah,
teaching because
yeah.
I truly believe there are so many people who talk about how, hey, you know what, you're going to get educated with a Google engineer or a Microsoft engineer. For me personally, most of my friends are in this. That does not necessarily mean they're good teachers. Teaching is a very different ballgame. Both my parents are teachers. They used to say this thing that teaching is a forcing function where it forces you to think better because to explain something you need to know it very, very well.
True.
Not just be able to use it, but the core fundamental stuff. So I believe like people like Manas, Swapnil, Nikita, Nalin, all these are really, really strong with respect to how they break down the complex problems into simplistic ways to digest for a student, right? That way I see them not just as engineers, but a very sweet mix of engineers come people who can actually teach.
I look at your offline experience as well. You've been going to schools and you've been running your AI labs offline completely, and that fascinated me. That was also one of the reasons why why I chose you as our partner, because I could see the success that you were able to bring with the school students in the 11th and 12th standard. How you've been able to get them in a room and how you've been able to get them to think and how you've been able to make them create stuff, right? I mean, that's brilliant. That's something I love.
Well, you spent nearly 2 decades in the industry, and this is the third decade of you actually connecting industry to education. What made you do that deliberate pivot to education in the first place?
So, industry, I've been very much a part of, and I could see a lot of while we were hiring in Randstad. Okay, we kind of when we were talking to the hiring managers, etc., we could clearly see that there was a gap that was not being addressed, right? So their requirements were very different from what was being offered in a CV in front of them, right? So that gap started increasing substantially in the last 3 4 years itself. So I could see clearly that the education system per se, where we are looking at giving a foundational learning is fine. The university should provide a very strong foundation to the students, because when they're moving in from a school to a college, there needs to be a certain structured way of learning the basic foundation that is required for them to build on. So it is the building blocks that were the problem, right? I mean, we were building a strong foundation and we kept building a strong foundation and we kept building a strong foundation till they graduated. So we never gave them an opportunity to see how the building was going to come up on the foundation, right? So the foundation is required and it needs to be very strong. But then what we build further to get them ready for the practical aspects was what was missing. And that is how, rolling back to what I did in Randstad while we were hiring, we could see a lot of this gap that was coming up. And which is why I got associated with edutech companies to see how is it that I could contribute towards towards creating content that would be more ready, more would help students skill themselves better. All right. So I started off with some of those programs. And then I came across an opportunity with SVYASA, and I found a phenomenal opportunity for myself here, because here was this young university that was wanting to step into a B.Tech program that is forward facing, that is industry ready. And there I was completely looking at an opportunity where I could come into a place which gave me this opportunity to be able to look at partnerships that would enable our university to grow alongside and make ourselves very, very industry relevant. Okay, so that was the pivot that I took, and I haven't regretted ever since. I love it. I love the energy. I love this place. I love it because it gives me the kick to walk in every day and see a whole bunch of youngsters wanting to do things, right, and wanting to make a difference. So I believe that we are creating a good foundation, and I believe that with skilling partners, we are building the necessary building blocks that are needed for them to build their lives and their future as well. That's how I look at it.
And when you first started doing this, it is not a very traditional process of education, obviously. Even a lot of parents and students still have kind of like a sort of apprehension or confusion about what this is. So, could you tell for people who don't know, how does this work actually behind the scenes, and just in general give them a clarity about that?
All right. So, when your child comes and joins us just after 12th, I would say that your child is joining SVYASA, the university. All right. They are not joining any skilling partner. They are joining the university. And as a university, it is our responsibility to ensure that your child graduates in a proper manner, right? So the foundation is taken care of. And then beyond the foundation, we need skilling partners like Tensor to help us upskill your child and get them future ready. Not just with short term courses, not with short term certifications, but with constant and regular hand holding and with the right practical experience, giving them live projects to work on, ensuring that they get the right internships with the right industry partners, exposing them to the right kind of competitions where they can test themselves, getting them to be with peers who are industry experts themselves. So, all these add up to making their CV very, very effective. So, it's a win win for both of us, and that's how the partnership will work for you. So, the university is responsible for ensuring that your child attends the classes, gives the exams on time, ensures that we certify them properly, give them a proper degree, and the skilling partners bring in all the value that is required to make them well-rounded individuals and to ensure that they are ready to hit the job market running. So SVYASA is a NAC A plus accredited university, and we are approved by AICTE. This is the governing body, and we are the apex body that oversees our B.Tech program. And the certification that is provided from SVYASA is a proper B.Tech degree with the right specialization in CSE AI, and it is approved as part of the AICTE governing regulations.
For a student who is joining this program in 2026, could you briefly talk about what they can expect in 1 year that they possibly couldn't get elsewhere?
When the student walks in for a CSN AI program, you can rest assured that they are going to start practical application from day zero, not even day one. So they're already coming in from a school to being a professional already. They are getting into a college where they will have well-rounded development as well. And when you talk about the first year curriculum, you usually talk about the foundational subjects, right? So we will be handling all the foundational subjects, and the flavor that will be brought in by the addition of the practical aspects of learning CSE and AI will be brought in by our partners, right? If you would like to add a bit more on that.
So basically, what we believe is even when we studied in Triple IT Hyderabad, we had this thing where in the first year itself, we did data structure and algorithms.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And even some of our friends in IIT Bombay used to say that your curriculum is crazy. We never felt so because for us that got very normalized. All our seniors did it. We used to do it. And by second year, when we went to the industry, we felt very ready. And after graduating from there, now we look back and we're like, wow, that was such a good thing that the college has done, which a lot of colleges don't seem to do. And at Tensor School, what we are doing is doing the same thing, but for AI era, where we removed all the noisy bits of the curriculum, which are not necessarily important for a student who is stepping into CS and AI. Maybe like electives in chemistry, advanced biomolecular chemistry, physics electives. We have removed all that in the compulsory curriculum. If a student is passionate about that, wants to take it as their side elective, sure, they can go ahead and do it. But as a fundamental course, there is no imposing from our side. What we instead focus on is actually computer science and AI from day zero. So students will get their hands dirty from day zero on a MacBook. We have supercomputing lab which we are building with you with 1 crore rupees investment. So the student will be able to access all these world-class resources, the best equipment from day zero. It's kind of simple, right? If Roger Federer is playing tennis, they would need a good shoe and a good tennis racket. So kind of like that, but for a student, everything that is required we are providing on day zero, including the best mentors possible. And so they're going to obviously have a blast and at the same time be very ready for the industry from the year 2 where internships will be starting, right? So they'll be very, very confident at that point of time.
Correct. And then to give them a bit more focus as well, we bring in elements of yoga.
Yes.
Because that's something that I really want to talk about, because I would say that our Vice Chancellor and Guruji always talk about how important it is to be not just physically fit but also mentally fit as well. And yoga as part of the curriculum will go a long way in doing that for our students especially. And the value-based education that we are talking about, which is missing in other universities. Let's not talk only about the curriculum. There is also a well-rounded personality that we are talking about. And that is something that we are bringing a huge, we pay a lot of attention to. So that's something that is a huge plus at SVYASA. And of course, there are the other extracurricular activities that we talk about, which is part of most of the universities as well, where like you have your student clubs, you have your grounds, you have your play areas, you have your fun activities that you do after college hours. So you have all this to look forward to as well. So it's a lot of fun and lot of learning and lot of hands-on work, which is what is brilliant.
And also, I think the campus. So when we first were looking for a partner, I think when we stumbled upon SVYASA, we were like, wait, how did this university actually build a campus between a tech park? That was very, very delightful for us. And more than that, I think it is that 16 years, is it? Since you guys have started, 16 years of legacy.
Absolutely.
In core fundamental subjects like medicine,
yoga, naturopathy.
So all these things were very impressive for us. And now that you're stepping into the tech space, it felt only right that, we work with you guys. And I guess for a 6-year-old company like ours, which has been delivering excellence, we wanted somebody who could bring that level of expertise with respect to org, right? And structure, bringing that kind of rhythm and reliability, all of those aspects which we want to actually work on as we go for our physical campus. That would be super, super crucial. So this made a lot of sense even for us. And I'm
Fantastic.
personally a very yoga girl. So
Wow,
not
that's
right
nice.
now, but I used to really enjoy doing yoga. So maybe in the next year, alongside our 2026 batch, even I can go
Oh,
for some
wow, that's
classes.
brilliant. Exactly. Yes, yes, that's nice.
So Srividya ma'am, you were very crucial in making this partnership happen. For you, what does this mean, this partnership, and where will this head in the next maybe like a decade? Where do you see this going?
You know, what really interested me was that you guys are like the captains of a ship, of this AI ship which is moving forward. And you guys are really at the frontier. I mean, you're right there. And as AI is developing and growing, you're growing with it. Okay. And that's what is interesting. And if you guys are going to come and set up the R&D for us in AI, the research areas that we're going to get into in future, it's such an exciting time. I mean, there is so much that will be done, and it will be done at a global scale. And I know for a fact that when the first batch passes out, there'll be a huge, there'll be a huge uptake in the global level as well, because you would have grown by then substantially from an AI R&D perspective as well. You will have a set of people here who are going to be traveling in that frontier along with you as part of that ship that you're taking forward. I mean, I see a huge future for this, and I see that the value that you guys bring in being at a global level. So that's something that's phenomenal for me. If you'd like to add on to that, that'll be brilliant because
Yeah, I mean, obviously, even we have our vision for this partnership, and it's so exciting because I feel like in the last 5 6 years we have seen a student struggle in the college. We have seen them wanting to make it, and finally when they are in their in internship period or placement period, coming to us and upskill with us and then get placed, which
wow.
that used to be shocking to us, that oh, this student was actually so smart, how come they didn't get the shot in the college, right? So I am very excited that finally there is a place where if a person is passionate, they can truly come here and excel in whatever arena that they're picking. Again, I think this is a small additional thing that I want to add here, that in Tensor School, we are looking forward to do those achiever tracks where a student can self-recognize alongside, exploring things in first year, that, okay, I want to go to research, or maybe I want to go to, fintech, or maybe I want to go particularly into competitive programming, or maybe a quant track. So we have created achiever tracks where a student will tag themselves onto a expert in that field. Say, for example, you can take Manas. He is India's top 15 programmer and also currently two-time reigning champion of Meta Hacker Cup AI track.
Wow.
Personally, if I think about it, as a 12th grader, learning from him is so cool. It's kind of like learning cricket from Kohli, or tennis from Roger Federer, chess from Vishwanath Anand. Similarly, now you get to learn something with a domain expert himself. So right now at Tensor School, that kind of additions make me feel very excited that here now we can truly give that shot for a student and see it for 4 years and see where they'll go with that, right? If we are able to produce such extraordinary results just in a sprint of 6 months of training with us, imagine what is possible for 4 years of a student. And secondly, I think one main thing that anybody who's watching this should register is that this is a Y Combinator backed company who is delivering education for the last 6 years. What does this imply for a student? Now you can think about Razorpay, Meesho, Zepto, even OpenAI. All these companies are actually part of the same,
Network.
network. So Y Combinator is kind of like a godfather for all these companies. It has invested in them, grown them, and built them into be these gigantic tech companies. So being part of that means that A, we get access to all these amazing network, the founders, the hiring opportunities. Therefore, a student who wants to be in either tech as a software engineer slash even an entrepreneurship side, both of them can get such global exposure like they wouldn't get anywhere else. So we are actually looking forward to positioning ourselves in a global level, not just an Indian level. Like people talk about where would your next college be? Maybe in New York, who knows?
Exactly.
Maybe in Silicon Valley itself. So that's the level that we are looking to be at, and I'm super excited for the students to get that global exposure that we have been having for years together. And I guess with SVYASA also, we want to have this as one of our main pillars of our college operations.
Fantastic. Look forward to it.
So finally, I want to ask you, who is this program for? From your end, who do you think will this best suit?
I would say that anybody who's passionate about AI and technology. I'm not looking for a person with 95% or 99% marks in mathematics. I'm looking at somebody who is crazy about learning AI and wanting to do more in this space. And wanting to understand the space thoroughly, wanting to be with mentors who are world-class leaders in the space already. So I'm looking for those students who bring passion and who bring an interest in learning the subject to the table. And also, I invite all those kids who are wanting to grow in this field. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, and it's kind of cruel how a lot of colleges don't give the opportunity for a child to truly showcase themselves and enter in the first place, because often in this whole rat race of JEE and all the other entrance exams, where they're tested on subjects that don't really matter, and they have to prove themselves for a domain which is completely different from it. Like, for example, JEE has chemistry, physics, everything, and what does a chemistry subject have to do with a student and their ability to perform in computer science? Nothing practically. I have never used any subject of computer science, I've never used anything of what I've learned in chemistry in my entire college time. But somehow a student is supposed to prove themselves, and then only then they'll get the priority order in India, right? First computer science, then this, then this. So they're like, it's almost like a very strange thing, asking like a fish to fly and prove itself, and then you get to go for a swimming competition. It's just absurd. So here I'm very glad that a student can actually take the TSAT test, showcase their ability, problem solving skills, and just genuinely get a shot in building their future.
See, that's what is interesting for me. What is interesting is, see, all these top IITs, etc., is catering to just a small percentage of the population, right? And it is so highly competitive. And here is an opportunity for a student to experience much more than that, and a world-class curriculum, and with the right mentors who are world-class in a campus which is calling them out purely for their passion and
Potential.
for their potential. That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah, absolutely.